Hey guys, welcome to the poppy tutorial video. So the way that I recorded this, the first half of it got destroyed. I don't know what happened to it. But what I've got here is when I was teaching a class, and so you kind of get a view of me teaching a live group, which is fun. So here I'm starting out. I've wet down, I'm doing wet on wet technique. So I've wet down the petal first, and then I'm coming in with some vermilion, which is a very bright red, and kind of dropping it in, spreading it around, seeing where I would want it darkest, which would kind of be mainly towards the center is where your flower is darkest. So here I am putting in some clean water again. And then dropping that in. There we go. Sorry, my camera goes in and out of focus as my hand moves around. Yes, so this is essentially how I did all of these petals, one by one, dropping in color, and you'll see what I do, how I'm, yep, right there. So I've got too much water or too much pigment, so I go and soak it up with my brush and wipe it off on the paper towel. So if you end up in a position where you're like, oh my gosh, that's too much, you can go and remove some. You could also use that technique to kind of make the lighter spots, which I've done a little bit here and there. Right there, I didn't like that harsh line, so I just came in with wet brush, clean wet brush, and smoothed it out. Now I'm coming in with just some pigment, and I'm putting, while the petal is still a little wet, not completely dry, but not completely wet, I'm coming in and grabbing some straight pigment and making these lines and shadows on the petal. So as I'm doing that, I am using my pen sketch as kind of a guide of where I want those petals, how I want the petals shaped, how I want the movement to go. So as I'm drawing those lines, I'm paying attention to that movement and that shape in the petals to be able to kind of define that. And I'll go around the edges of the petal, just do a little bit of shadow where they're on top of each other. There we go. So now I'm just going to go through and repeat that through all of the rest of the petals. Okay, so now I want to show you what can happen. The really cool thing about watercolor is that you can almost erase marks that you make. So see, I've just made a big old mark on my paper, and I'm going to go into clean water, going to clean off my brush, and I'm just going to rub it out. So I go over and over and over it so that there's no more harsh lines, and then come back with my paper towel and smooth it out of there. And it almost completely disappears. Now, you can't do this with all colors. Red is really tricky with it. And often there will still be a little bit of kind of a shadow where you can see where it was at. But it's better than having a great big line. Okay, and now we're going to move to my other recording that I don't have to voice over with. Okay, now that I've got my petals all done and painted, I'm going to go into the center of each flower And I'm just going to come in, I'm going to activate my yellow ochre. Get that going. Yellow ochre is kind of like a sunflowery yellow, this one right here. So not lemon yellow, really bright, but kind of a dusky yellow, I guess. So this time I got my paintbrush is wet, my paper is dry, so it's wet on dry technique. And I'm just going to go into my paint, and I'm only going to do kind of the center of this, because poppies have a little bit of yellow in the middle, but then all the lovely black. So you can kind of see in this one right here where I have the yellow and then that black speckled around it for each of these. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry completely, and while that is drying, we're going to get our sap green going again and start on those leaves and stems. Alright, I've got my sap green all activated, and I'm going to go straight into this guy, and I'm just going to fill them in. And then I think I'm going to switch to my smaller brush before I move on to the others. I really like working with a tiny detail brush. It's not great for larger paintings, but especially when I'm doing one where I've already got the pen work down, this is what I like to do. Now, one of the things you can do to get kind of a different tone, or it almost looks like a different color, what you can do is you start out with that brush, and then you're just going to keep filling in petals, and it'll give a lighter and lighter shade. This guy's going to be a little lighter than that guy. And this one's going to be even lighter. Almost look like a different color. Okay, so we've got that. And the same thing with the stems. I'm just going to come in, lay that stem in, and we'll put some other colors in for details and things like that. But for now, this first layer, we're just kind of painting by number, filling it in. Now, you guys can access this pen drying for free on my website as kind of a website launching free giveaway. I haven't set up a website in the past, and it's kind of new for me. I'm a little nervous, but I'm hoping it'll kind of give a main landing ground for a lot of my work, because I'm on so many different social media sites and I've tried selling on Etsy for the last 2 years, and I'm just not getting the traffic I want, and I'm not getting a whole lot of interest and all of that, and it's kind of hard to come from a really good market and then not be making anything online. So we're going to change tactics a little bit and try something different. Come into my dark, because I feel like I'm not getting enough dark leaves. I might come back and So it's the same color, I went straight into my pigment. Because I wanted a little more variation in my leaves. Okay, let's get some detail on these leaves. So here we go. This is how they are now. They've dried slightly. I'm going to come in. I've got straight pigment that I can come in and start adding some detail lines with. It's not going to be quite as dark. It's kind of soft. And I have a deeper green that I can come back in and get some deeper shadows with. But that'll kind of start getting the ball rolling. Now when you're going to do your stems, the darkest color was right here at the base. And then I'm just kind of brushing down the stem. I'm not getting all of it. I'm just kind of creating little shadows here and there. If it crosses behind one, I definitely make it darker. You want to have that shadow there. So that whole line right there behind. See if I can show you that whole line right there behind. I just made, come on camera, darker because it's in shadow. So you can do that with your leaves as well to get that darker color going. Go. This guy. Making the base a little darker and the tip a little darker. And dark, nice and dark there, and kind of leaving spaces of light. Now when I'm going in with my leaves themselves, I'll start right here. Okay, so I'm going to come in and go down that line, down the middle, and just kind of spark some of those. Not going crazy, just, goodness, hold still. Just a little bit of detail. And if I look at it and I'm like, oh, that's too harsh, remember you can go back and soften parts. The darker your petal is, you'll need a darker tone to your color, but for some of these lighter ones, you almost want to wait till you've got less pigment on your brush, so it's not quite so stark. That first one was a little stark, I think. That guy's better. That first guy was way too dark. I think, good to point out for instruction, but definitely darker than I wanted him to be. Okay, also, you can see on these guys, they're fluffy, fuzzy, kind of pokey. So I've got pen polka dots, but I want to come in with my color as well. Going in with my darkest pigment, come in and just poke in a few of those details in the middle, a few on the sides. Okay, and then I'm just going to keep working my way through every one of these little leaves. I had to draw a whole bunch of them apparently, so it will take longer, but it looks better with more leaves. So we'll just enjoy the moment. I usually paint with either, I've got music going. I like something not too engaging because I don't want it to pull me out of the artistic moment. So I end up with classical piano a lot of the time. But I feel like it kind of puts you in that peaceful mood a little bit, which for me, a lot of art, a lot of when I need emotionally to do art, I need like that calm, quiet, peaceful time to reflect. And it's turned out nice. Several of my kids are artistic, so they'll just come hang out with me and we'll paint together, or they'll be crocheting or working on any little project here and there that they've got going on. And we'll just kind of hang out in that peaceful environment together. It's really nice. I'm popping in again with my darkest tone. I don't know that we needed a whole lot for very much of this. I'll probably just put it kind of at the base, or kind of at shadows. I don't know. You could honestly leave this out and it doesn't make a huge difference. If there was any of those leaves that were crazy dark and you were having a hard time getting any definition with the lighter shade, you can come in and do those lines. And the base of your stems, where it's been cut. Yeah. Alright, there we go. Now we're ready for the final touch, the piece de resistance, the black. For this I am going straight into black, but a lot of the times when you're using black, you actually want to undertone it with something else, like maybe, my favorite's dark blue. I like to have a blue undertone to my black, but this is such a small space that you don't really need it. So I've activated my black. I'm going in with my fine point brush, and then I'm going to make basically, oh, it smears on my painting. I'm going to come in and make polka dots essentially back in this part, and I'm going to leave some white. You do want a little bit there, but I'm even going to go over the yellow a little bit and up into the petals a little, just to get that fun poppy center of the flower. There we go. Alright, there he is. Ooh, in and out of focus. And I'm going to go in to my other three. Let's start up here. Make those little polka dots. go. There is our final painting. Geez, I love how this camera goes in and out of focus. I need to find a better option. But there you go. Super cute. I hope you guys had fun. I'm going to do a few more of these. I mean, my main thing that I paint is flowers, but I like to do some landscapes. I like to do a little bit of work with people. I am not professional when it comes to people. I find that a lot harder with skin tone, but I'll kind of show you guys how I fake it and make it work and still be pretty while not having the incredible skills that a lot of people do. So here we go. I hope you guys had fun. I hope you enjoyed it. Oh, I want to show off my daughter's drawing. Now, I want you to remember that your art does not have to look like my art. So she started with kind of the same base. She got frustrated. Watercolor is not her normal medium. She loves this pen work, and you can see she's got these amazing colored pens. They're micron pens, and she comes in, and I love the flow and the movement that she captures with that watercolor behind. Yeah, gorgeous. So your watercolor, here was my original, so I don't have any pen drawing on that one. They're all going to look different, even if you're painting the same thing. They really do come out more to the individual. See, here's even, those are the same pen, and it is not quite the same. I was doing this one while I was teaching a class. So, enjoy your art. It doesn't have to look like other people's to be awesome and beautiful. And have a good day, guys. Bye-bye.